It's precisely 10 p.m. in Banjul, and this is GRTS News, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. In our headlines this hour, the Catholic community in the Gambia celebrates Assumption Day with Mass and prayer communions marking the fourth dogma of the Catholic Church. A new Green Deal focusing on environmental sustainability. The Canifing Municipal Council launches a major tree planting exercise to expand green spaces and tackle climate change. Easing healthcare needs for flood victims. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community organizes a Medicare camp for victims of recent floods in the capital, Banjul. In sports, the season's champions crowned. Hawks Football Club wins the 2022 GFF First Division League title, wrapping up a remarkable run with a 1-0 win over Team Reno. Away from home, the chair of Kenya's Electoral Commission announces Deputy President William Ruto as winner of the closely contested presidential race. Elsewhere, a year into Taliban rule leaves Afghanistan in a state of socio-economic stagnation with a major assault on women's rights. Well, that's the news and much more coming ahead. With me, Mary Ann Ajayi, and many thanks for joining us.
Experiencing acute food.
It's great to have you here. Now we begin with the Assumption Day commemorations in Banjul, where the 15th of August is annually celebrated with various activities amongst the Catholic community. Sangmari, as it is popularly called in the Gambia, and it represents the departure of Mary from this life and the assumption of her body into heaven. A major Holy Mass was held where Christians joined the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Banjul, Right Reverend Dr. Gabriel Mendy, Father Edward Gomez, Father Antoine Sambu, and Father Richard Mansell, leading the congregation in a long prayer gathering in the capital. Well, Bernadette Sane has more on that.
In his solemn sermon, Bishop Gabriel Mendy spoke at length on some of the orders and reasons of the statues, images, and paintings in the church. He highlighted some of the basic tenets concerning the devotion to Mary.
Mary was specially chosen by God to be the mother of his son Jesus Christ and was assumed into heaven on account of her son Jesus Christ. We rejoice, we believe, and we hope in the Lord who made it possible for Mary to be assumed into heaven without experiencing the corruption of the grave. We rejoice in the Lord and praise him for what he has done for Mary. We honor Mary. worship her, we honor Mary. We respect her, we revere her, and we devote ourselves to her as the Mother of God.
The Catholic bishop described the statues and paintings of Mary as very important and spiritually useful, but however should not dominate or overshadow our focus and spiritual communion with God and His Son Jesus Christ, adding that pictures, images, and statues have their proper places in the church. Bishop Dr. Gabriel Mendy dilated on the significance of Mother Mary in the Catholic faith.
Mary herself was obviously very special. She was higher than all among the human race. She occupied a very special and unique role in our salvation and also among the saints. But she did not credit herself or attribute everything to herself. She didn't credit herself for her vocation and her status, for her position. Nor did she disregard what God was doing in the life of others, especially the poor, the lonely and the weak among God's chosen people. She recognized how God lifted up the lowly, how God was working in the lives of the poor. Her cousin Elizabeth highly commended her as the most blessed of all women. But her response in her song of praise was, "The Almighty has done great things for me. Holy is His name." He attributed everything to God, what God was doing in her life. So like Mary, we should also recognize what God is doing in the life of each person.
The Catholic bishop called on all to seriously reflect on each of these titles, which clearly indicates the rightful places and the position of Mary in the Catholic faith in relation to God and His Son, the Spirit, angels, apostles, and the saints. The solemn day celebrations was characterized with prayers, vespers, rosary, and benediction at the cathedral, followed by the usual traditional performance, making the day with gospel artists, church groups, singing songs of Mary amidst traditional drumming in the Catholic city of Banjul. Bernle Sane for GRTS News.
Now, away from the capital city of Banjul to the Kanifing municipality, where people are embracing a new Green Deal with the launch of a massive sustainability initiative aimed at boosting climate change adaptation. Municipal officials were joined by multiple stakeholders at the Gaf Fajara Barracks, which hosted the inauguration of the groundbreaking Go Green scheme aimed at enriching natural environments and green spaces across the city's 9 wards. Well, our Isa Tuketa reports.
A customary emblem of the military for every important visit and occasion. Soldiers at the Gaf Fajara Barracks giving a befitting welcome to delegates coming for a development-oriented tour under the Go Green initiative led by the Kanifing municipality. A projected target of over 100,000 trees across 9 wards in the municipality was officially launched at the Fajara Barracks.
We will plant 10,000 trees per ward for all of KMC's 19 wards to green our municipality. Our action will contribute to both national climate change mitigation and also adaptation needs. It would also contribute to the nationally determined contributions of the Gambia by lessening emissions to the atmosphere. By planting 190,000 trees, there will be a significant carbon capture, reducing pollution and creating a more livable environment.
The military, a champion of ecological protection, greatly welcomed the undertaking, seen by the High Command as a complementary move in the quest to increase and enrich the country's flora.
If we look around in Fajara Barracks here, as people with a sense of responsibility will find out that the people living in these barracks, even from the inception, we can know that they are responsible people. Because the trees that we are seeing here, some of them are even older than us. And these trees were nurtured and kept by the soldiers who are living here, and it is our responsibility to make sure that those practices are not underrated. We must make sure that they stand alive. We are soldiers. We know the importance of trees. We know the importance of the cover of the earth, vegetation, and all whatnot. Even in our field craft, we do not underrate what we call vegetation cover in our movements in all aspects.
The Canifin Environmental Transformation Program focuses on using sustainable alternatives to integrate into waste management and environmental protection, tackling climate challenges through green initiatives.
We intend to plant 190,000 trees within this municipality. And basically, the Fajara Barracks is chosen as our starting point because one of the support that the members of the men and women of these barracks and of the army outfit contributes to environmental management in this country, and it is well appreciated. And have the belief that the trees that we are going to plant would be looked after, and it would be beneficial. And the choice have been taken that the trees that are going to be planted would be of value to the families and men in this campus. It's an action taken by we trying to generate a sustainable city where we would have regeneration and the cities would be green. The project itself has different activities. It has a municipal library, it has tree planting, it has a radio station, and it has several actions relating to the backwater dump site, and it is innovative and it would engage youths.
Tree planting is the fastest way to reduce carbon, and cities are looking at more sustainable ways to adapt to climate change and integrate people in developments that protect natural environments. The project seeks to pilot 190,000 seedlings, envisaged to generate huge impacts in the coming years.
KTEP is one of our numerous initiatives geared towards tackling some of our environmental, social, and economic challenges. It is a project funded by the European Union and co-financed by the KMC and our partners in the UK, Peterborough City Council. The value of the total funds available to this project is over $180 million. The KTEP project aims to use a sustainable focus on new integrated waste management approaches to drive environmental, social, economic transformation in the lifestyles of the Canifin municipal residents.
The Fajara Barracks now bears the role of environmental custodian as the Canifin municipality moves to enhance its relationship with nature.
Trees are indispensable for life. Man cannot live without trees. However, forest trees are the source of life. They are the giving angels, the giving man oxygens, root, fruits, and the world look so beautiful when we have this. I want to thank KMC for choosing Fajara Barracks. We assure you that once we grow these plants, we will do our level best to make sure we secure them up to where we want it, sir.
Community engagements like this one encourages ownership and meaningful dialogue, yielding lasting impacts for sustainability. For GRTS News, this is Aissatou Keita.
And now onto this development where the Ahmadiyya Muslim Hospital launches a free medical camp in Banjul, rendering medical services to victims of the recent floods in the greater Banjul area. Scores of patients got medical attention today as the medical camp officially opened at the St. Augustine Senior Secondary School. Well, Ibrahim Ajalo has all the details.
Supporting victims of the recent floods, the Ahmadiyya Muslims Hospital set out for a free medical camp, providing free medical services to victims in need of medical attention. The camp opens today at the St. Augustine Senior Secondary School in Banjul, where dozens of households displaced by the disaster are currently lodged.
It is our duty as Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam advise us we should remove the difficulties of our fellow being, so that we take the responsibility whatever we can do, and we can serve the humanity, and that's why we are here to remove the ailment of the people and give them the medicine. So we are just helping for the sake of God.
Doctors and nurses at the camp conduct diagnostic checks on patients with different health complications and supply them with medicine for free.
We are here to detect the diseases that what they are affecting from flood, like from diarrheal diseases, dysentery diseases, skin infections, and the pregnant mothers, as we have seen. But what we have started receiving, so we have receiving a lot of pregnant mothers. Even their ultrasounds are not done. They don't know their status. That what is their status are going on. And especially the most important thing is I'm receiving diabetic patients. Their blood sugars are so high, they are in their 40s, but still they don't know that whether they are diabetic or they are hypertensive. So what we are doing here, that we are giving them 1 month supply for free for diabetes and hypertension. But the most important thing, what we say, that our camp will be fulfilled, the purpose will be fulfilled if the person knows that yes, now he or she is diabetic or hypertensive.
Local authorities in Banjul, including the National Assembly member for Banjul North, Honorable Modu Lamin Biba, witnessed the official start of the medical camp. They commended the Ahmadiyya Muslims for the medical support.
In such an initiative by the Ahmadiyya Muslim system in the Gambia, I believe it is something that we must appreciate and say thank you very much, Dr. Khan, Dr. Asif, and the entire team for coming up to see that you complement the efforts of what have been happening here.
Patients benefiting from this initiative, we are happy and appreciative.
How I was feeling, and since I came here, is very different. I can see some improvement, definitely. And I would be very happy if other organizations can emulate what the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is doing for the Gambian people.
The free medical camp is being rolled out under the motto, Love for all, hatred for none. Ibrahim Jallo, GRTS News.
And now the media has been critically important in disseminating information during the global pandemic, with extensive visibility for infectious disease prevention programs impacting vaccination uptake around the world. Well, GRTS's Janke Toure takes a closer look at how the press contributed to reducing vaccine hesitancy, allaying misconceptions on the COVID-19 vaccine in the Gambia.
Silently draining the energy of health systems, COVID-19 continues to keep up a persistent presence, damaging lives and economies. Many see these times as a long stretch from the peak of the pandemic, but disease prevention officials say COVID is very much around with ever more complicated variants. Working with international partners, the Health Ministry has accelerated access to vaccines to prevent further spread of infections, with a strategy to induce herd immunity in the long term. Working daily to inform the public, journalists were among the frontliners seriously affected by the pandemic.
COVID is real. I mean, we have seen the impact it has caused around the world. I mean, so many lives were lost, and then, the impact is felt across all sectors. And certainly, is real, and then the impact we are still trying to recover. I mean, for a country like the Gambia, a developing country.
The biggest health emergency of the new digital era, misconceptions of COVID-19 vaccines, quickly took root online, with social media offering unchecked advice on its development. Journalists played a crucial role in providing real-time information on the disease outbreak, influencing public understanding and behavior during the public health emergency. Amar Ba, a senior reporter at the Standard newspaper, underscored how information disseminated by the press impacts individuals' decisions to take the vaccine or not.
Myself, I have done interviews with some health officials, especially during the peak of COVID, and I also take the bold step to go and take the vaccine myself, and act as a show of responsibility, put it in all my media feeds, just to show people that I have also taken the vaccine and I am here safe and alive. So all those misconceptions about the vaccine, about any other thing that surrounds COVID, might not be true. So maybe the best thing we could do is to listen to the health officials who understands health and anything that surrounds the COVID.
According to health officials, since the start of COVID-19 vaccinations, only 18.5% of the Gambian populace took the jab. Officials want to increase vaccination uptake through stronger partnership with the media to end vaccine hesitancy.
We engage in people from all walks of life. And I think one of the efforts also is getting stakeholders in this country vaccinated and televising it for everybody to see. I think that was a very, very good start.
As of August 13, 2022, the Gambia recorded a total of 12,238 cases, 368 deaths, and 11,591 recoveries from COVID-19. Janket Ture, GRTS News.
The fight to end irregular migration intensifies, with local NGO Youth Against Irregular Migration extending a nationwide campaign to raise youth awareness. On Sunday, the local migration advocacy group held a day-long sensitization outreach in Bundong, Bohol, themed on building awareness on the effects of irregular migration. The program was punctuated by a football match and cinema screening of documentaries highlighting the ills of the dangerous journey. Well, Majang Barrow has more on that.
Formed by a group of migrant returnees in 2017, Migration Advocacy Group Youths Against Irregular Migration is expanding a committed campaign to raise awareness on the dangers of the perilous journey as scores of youths continue to perish in the Mediterranean Sea. The so-called backway has taken hundreds of lives, with families left in deep sorrows and vulnerable amid the loss of critical providers. The weekend sensitization in Bundong Bohol Sunday began with a football match between Yen officials and Bijangar FC, ending with a cinema screening at night. The Secretary General of Yen, Mustafa Salah, said his organization is moving to boost youth confidence, supporting youths to believe in themselves and their abilities to succeed and make it in the Gambia.
Challenges that we are facing as an organization is many, because Youth Against Irregular Migration is an organization that comprises of migrants, returnees, and potential migrants. And all these young people are struggling to make ends meet because employment opportunity is not enough in this country. And as an organization also, we believe we should have more support from our government, from our own people, rather than, receiving it from outside. Because migrant returnees are not recognized most of the time.
Lami Dabo is the councillor for Bundong Ubantaba Bohol Ward.
I thank him for the positive initiative in my community. It is very important to discourage youths on irregular migration. We have already lost so many lives and wealth in the process.
Parents, especially mothers who go through a lot of sacrifices to provide for their children while on the dangerous backway journey, but are mostly left heartbroken, said Masang Jamme, a native of Bundong Bohol.
Our children ventured into irregular migration and we are still regretting it. The loss is an unforgettable tragedy. I pray for the departed soul to rest in peace.
Here, YEM officials present a new football and set of jerseys to the president of Bundong Bijanker FC, Suleiman Dabo.
Urging the government, they have to help the youths. In helping the youths, they have to create job opportunities for them, and then skills training centers. These training centers also is not only to send people to go and just learn skill, and then they need support as well.
The NGO Youths Against Irregular Migration is touring the country, sensitizing people about the dangers of irregular migration in new efforts to discourage the process and protect returnees from stigma. Majan Baro for GRTS News.
You're watching us live from Banjul, and we will take a quick break. When we return, sports news is up next. We'll be back. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now, Hawks Football Club has been crowned the champions of the 2022 Gambia Football Federation First Division League as they wrap up a remarkable run with a 1-0 win over Team Rhino in the final match of the season. Hawks, who last won the title in 1996, ended their drought in incredible fashion, keeping up a long unbeaten run. Well, Famara Baji, our sports correspondent, witnessed the final game and now tells us more on how Hawks were able to receive this goal.
From the beginning, if anyone had told Hawks that come the end of the campaign, they would become the champions of the 2022 GFF Division 1 League, with this averagely young squad, they would have had raised many questions and doubts. But along the line, they believe, work hard, and achieve success. What was not the ultimate plan turned out to be the ultimate success.
Yeah, as we see how things are going at the beginning of the league, we know if we push harder, we can win the league, because the way we are playing and the way we are approaching games, and our opponents the way they are playing. So we knew earlier that if we push, if we make some efforts, we will win the league.
Having been confirmed champions with 2 games to spare, Hawks were accorded a guard of honor in this final group game against Team Rhino. Everything that was supposed to be there in the stands was there. For a league that barely attracts spectators, having this number of supporters witnessing a league game can be considered massive, and the ambience was electric. It was only pride and reputation at stake for both Hawks and Team Rhino in this game. The tie was more of a jugular than intent, as it was in the 82nd minute that the game witnessed the first clear-cut chance, when Rhino's goalkeeper saved a goal-bound shot from Seni Sanyang. And Umar Sarr, who came on as a substitute, scored his 9th goal of the season from the resulting corner to wrap up a delightful season for Hawks.
It's a very exciting day. We played very well this season. I think that made the difference for us to win the league. I'm very proud of it. During my playing days, we won it. 26 years it's so long. So, and we did it this season.
Bakau-based club Steve Biko finished third and were given $150,000. Second place, Royal de Banjul were handed $300,000. And for Hawks, it was a befitting decoration. 19 wins, 5 draws, and 6 defeats en route to this stage. Hawks scored 38 goals and conceded 17 in 30 games. The champions were handed $750,000 as the reward for their achievement. Famara Baji, GRTS News.
Interesting development there in sports. Well, let's now head to the Upper River, where 150 participants are attending the 2nd edition of the annual Regional Volleyball Summer Camp, harnessing the potential of young volleyball players in a special training on the basics of the game to become professional players. The week-long event, attended by participants from the North Bank and Upper River, is taking place at the Bassett College. Now, our URR correspondent Seydou Camara covered this opening ceremony, and he now reports.
This is the 2nd edition of the Upper River Region Volleyball Summer Camp. Over 100 participants from NBR and URR are attending the week-long event, preparing young people for a vibrant future. This year's summer camp focuses on building volleyball skills. The young participants who will be introduced to basic tactics and other latest sporting activities. The summer camp is taking place at the Basse College, where volleyball instructors and mentors are training these upcoming volleyball enthusiasts to become professional in the game. In his opening remarks at the launch of the summer camp, URR Governor Sambaba entreated participants to take the program seriously in order to achieve their objectives.
Today, many people who sees you gather here will now say that they are there to merry-make, they are there to play about. But you as an individual, you know the reason why you are here. You know the reason why you have your mentors and your tutors with you here. And you have to understand that these mentors and tutors are also living families at home, and they decide to stay with you here for the number of days you are going to stay here. Then you have to make best use of the time you are here. They said it, when we talk about sports, people think that it's all about football. Yes, today, football overshadows all type of sports, but to me, all games are important. And all games are fast in economic development. A better example is the Gambia beach volleyball team. We have seen they have brought what we call medals, gold for this country, which has never happened in sports. But it was the volleyball team that brought it here.
Governor Ba urged participants to use the summer camp as a venue to prepare for the National Youth Sport Event NECOF.
Your tutors are here to guide you. They are here to train you. They are here to educate you. But if you don't give them the maximum discipline that they deserve, they will hide some of the things that they are supposed to give you, and at the end of the day, you become a failure. And we are not here today for you to become failures. Both those from Upper River region and those from North Bank region. Because tomorrow, if you are representing the Gambia, you are not representing region, you are representing the Gambia. And in fact, that's what makes this camp very beautiful.
The chairman of Basse Area Council for the Danjo encouraged young volleyball players to make best use of the opportunity, assuring youths of the council's continued support.
When we concentrate on volleyball, concentrate on other disciplines, I'm 100% sure we will be able to compete nationally and internationally. And I'm challenging you, the young people, to take this event very seriously. Train as much as possible. I know you have your very intelligent coaches, you have your very intelligent instructors who will take you throughout these days that you're going to spend here. I'm 100% sure at the end of the day, we will be able to have a very good team that will be able to compete even at national level.
The IOM Desk officer in the Upper River region, Hamza Sise, expressed delight in the partnership with the organizing committee for the volleyball summer camp, which he said was conceived to contribute to the welfare of young people in the region.
I am made to understand that this is a composition of different young people from different parts of the region, and as well as some representatives from the North Bank region. And of course, the International Organization for Migration for always supporting the National Youth Council and the Migration Information Center to put up activities that will, of course, support young people. So I'm hopeful that before the close of this very important event, a lot of interesting things will emerge that we could use as an opportunity in our future programming.
Mamadi Kruma is the regional sports chairperson.
I would urge all of you to take this very seriously. Because as we all know, we are heading for the NECOF. That's a national event that will take place in Banjul. So with this, I know we will be able to, have a very good team.
Officials urge participants and instructors to be a united force in order to achieve their goals, to produce professional volleyball players who will represent the Gambia at all levels. Seydou Kamara, reporting for Jata Sport from Basse Upper River region.
And now the chair of Kenya's Electoral Commission on Monday announced that Deputy President William Ruto won the closely contested presidential race. The news came just minutes after 4 out of 7 election officials said on Monday they rejected the highly anticipated announcement. At the same time, Ruto declared victory, stating that there are no losers. The people of Kenya have won because we raised the political bar. The situation quickly descended into chaos, with scuffles breaking out. Footage showed a man throwing a podium off the stage, and diplomats were reportedly whisked out of the tallying hall. 2 election officials were also reportedly injured. Well, let's take a listen to this engagement.
Kenya has a new president. William Samoei Ruto is the president-elect. He garnered 7.15 million votes, representing around 50.49% of the total votes cast, and that is the result that the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has used to declare William Ruto as the president-elect. William Ruto is the incumbent, before this particular moment, was the incumbent deputy president, and now he changes the mantle of office. He's now been given the mantle of office to lead Kenya for the next 5 years. Now, William Ruto has a deputy by the name Rigathi Gachagua, and the 2 individuals used the hustler narrative, which seemed to appeal more to the young people who, much as it's not so many of them that came out to vote, the duo was able to get 50.49, which was more than what was required, because the requirement was 50% of the total votes cast and plus just 1 vote. As you can see behind me, the screen over there, that's the president-elect addressing Kenyans, and he has said that in this particular election, there is no loser. All of them are Kenyans, and he's called on the fellow competitors to come on board and work together, which is something that we may probably be seeing in the next few days as Ruto takes the mantle of office. So this paves way for his swearing in should the election not be contested. He will be sworn in about the next 14 days, and after that, he will now be Kenya's 5th president.
And now it has been a year since the Taliban gained control of Kabul. As the last American and NATO forces left the country 12 months ago, thousands tried to get out of the capital as the Taliban closed in. Some made it to the airport, trying to board any plane that would take them. The Taliban takeover came after months of rapid territorial gains that caught the Afghan government and its Western allies by surprise. Since then, they've presided over an economy in free fall. This has fueled one of the world's humanitarian disasters. Well, this is GRTS News with me, Mary Ann Ajayi. And before we go, a quick look at our top stories once again. Catholic Christians in the Gambia are celebrating Assumption Day with Mass and prayer communions, marking the 4th dogma of the Catholic Church. A Green New Deal towards environmental sustainability. The Kanifing municipality launched a major tree planting initiative to boost green spaces and tackle climate change. Easing healthcare needs for flood victims. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community organized a Medicare camp for victims of recent floods in the capital city of Banjul. In sports, the season's champions crowned. Hawks Football Club clinches the 2022 GFF First Division League title, wrapping up a remarkable season with a 1-0 win over Team Rhino. Away from home, the chair of the Kenya's Electoral Commission announces Deputy President William Ruto as a winner of the closely contested presidential race. Elsewhere, a year into Taliban rule leaves Afghanistan in a major state of socio-economic stagnation, with a major assault on the rights of women. Well, viewers, that's the end of this edition of GRTS News at 10. Until then, we say goodbye. Thank you for the pleasure of your company, and from the entire news team is good night.